Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 6th of January. Taming inflation top priority for South Asia, says India's central bank chief. Pakistan's ex-PM Imran Khan insists 3 shooters involved in his assassination bid. And Afghanistan's Taliban signs oil extraction deal with Chinese company. And now for all the details. India's central bank chief Shaktikanta on Friday said taming of inflation is the key priority of South Asian nations as he addressed an IMF event on policy challenges in the region. He also called out the heavy dependency of the region on fossil fuel, adding that it will make it vulnerable to fuel inflation.
Reserve Bank of India Governor Shaktikanta on Friday said that taming inflation is the top priority for South Asian countries, as risk through growth and investment outlook could rise if price pressures persist at high levels. Speaking at an event organized by IMF, the International Monetary Fund, the central bank chief said policy challenges in the region sharpened due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine. Talking about region's heavy dependence on imported fossil fuel, he said it has made the region vulnerable to fuel inflation. For successful disinflation, credible monetary policy actions accompanied by targeted supply-side interventions, fiscal trade, policy and administrative measures have become the key instruments, he added. Apart from inflation, Das also listed other key priorities for South Asia that included containing external vulnerabilities, raising productivity, strengthening cooperation for energy security, green energy cooperation, and promotion of tourism.
The first policy priority for the South Asian region is obviously taming inflation. Multiple external shocks in the form of COVID-related global supply chain disruptions, food and energy crisis following the war in Ukraine, and financial market volatility arising from the aggressive monetary policy tightening have exerted sustained price pressures in the South Asian economies, which is of course felt in other parts of the world also.
India has been struggling with high inflation, which remained above the upper tolerance for 10 straight months in 2022 before falling to 5.88% in November. IMF Deputy Managing Director Antoinette Sae, however, said India is in a relative bright spot in the world economy, but needed to leverage its existing strength in services exports and extend it to job-rich manufacturing exports.
Joshimath town in India's northern hill state of Uttarakhand has been sinking as several houses are showing cracks from where dirty water has been incessantly flowing for the past few days. This has caused panic among residents who are fleeing to safer locations. The reason of the cracks has not yet been confirmed by official sources.
Joshimath town in India's northern state of Uttarakhand has been sinking as several houses showed cracks from where dirty water has been incessantly flowing for the past few days. This has caused panic among residents who are fleeing to safer locations with their belongings. The community hospital in the hill town has developed huge cracks in its building, which has created a sense of fear among the patients and medical officials. A decision to shift the hospital will be taken soon after inspection, an official said. State disaster management authorities were seen inspecting cracked roads and residences to estimate the gravity of Joshimath's horror.
बहुत सारे जगह पर नए क्रैक्स डेवलप हुए हैं, जो क्रैक्स पहले थे वो बड़े हो गए हैं. जो पानी निकल रहा है वो खतरनाक है, जो मड के साथ वो नीचे वैक्यूम क्रिएट कर रहा है, उसे करना और सिंकिंग हो रही है. वो बहुत ही चिंताजनक बात है. इस शहर में सीवर सिस्टम, ड्रेनेज सिस्टम व्यवस्थित नहीं है, उसके कारण पानी सब ज़मीन में मरता है. और ज़मीन जानते हैं यहाँ की जो मिट्टी है मोरेन है, लूज है. कहीं भी अगर पानी ज़मीन में मरेगा तो वो अपने साथ पूरा मिट्टी को घोल के ले जाता है.
Meanwhile, recreational activities like ropeway in the picturesque hilly landscape are shut for the public in view of the worsening condition. The reason of the cracks has not yet been confirmed by official sources. However, Joshimath's sinking condition has made its buildings more vulnerable to landslides owing to the fragile ecosystem of the Himalayas.
In news from Pakistan, Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan has termed the assassination attempt on him last November to be a planned attack, insisting that 3 shooters were involved in the incident. Khan has called for a powerful body hacked by the Chief Justice of Pakistan to probe the incident.
Pakistan's former Premier and opposition PTI party chairman Imran Khan on Thursday termed the November 3 attack on him to be a planned assassination attempt, insisting that 3 shooters were involved in the incident. Khan, in a virtual address, called for a powerful body backed by the Chief Justice of Pakistan to probe the incident, as he talked about the findings of the joint investigation team. He also claimed that attempts were made to create a narrative accusing him of committing blasphemy in an effort to justify the attack on him by a religious fanatic.
मुझे अंदर से एजेंसीज के अंदर से पैगाम आया कि ये प्लान बन रहा है आपको कत्ल करने का, दीन के नाम पे, वही सलमान तासीर वाला कत्ल। तो मैंने फिर 2 जलसों के अंदर इसकी बात की। मैंने 7 अक्टूबर को मेरा एक जलसा था और उससे पहले 24 सितंबर को मेरा जलसा था। उन दोनों जलसों में मैंने ये बताया कि ये प्लान बन रहा है मुझे कत्ल करने का।
Khan, the former cricketer turned politician, is the only Pakistani Prime Minister to be ousted in the no-confidence vote in Parliament. He has alleged that the no-confidence vote was part of a US-led conspiracy targeting him because of his independent foreign policy decisions on Russia, China and Afghanistan. The US has denied the allegations.
Moving on. The poor condition of roads, absence of proper education facilities and rising unemployment have continued to make life miserable for people in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Locals complain the Prime Minister of the occupied region and his government have turned a blind eye to their issues.
The poor condition of roads, absence of proper education facilities and rising unemployment have continued to make life miserable for people in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. People in region have complained the Prime Minister of the illegally occupied territory, Tanveer Ilyas, and his Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI government have ignored development. Taking a dig at Ilyas, a local said he comes to capital Muzaffarabad for only tours. He is always in Islamabad. Talking about health infrastructure of the region, people complain there is no doctor in hospitals, while students are forced to study in schools without any roof in extreme cold. Tanveer Ilyas had announced so much during budget, but it's all on paper and on ground there is only poverty, said a resident.
तो जितने भी तामीर और तरक्की के जो मंसूबे हैं वो फंड्स की कमी के बायस, फंड न होने के बायस जो हैं वो बंद पड़े हुए हैं, अधूरे पड़े हुए हैं। लोग जो हैं वो कच्ची सड़कों पे जो है सफ़र करने पे मजबूर हैं। स्कूलों और कॉलेजों की अगर हम बात करें तो हमारे देहातों के अंदर जो है बग़ैर छतों के जो है सर्द तरीन मौसम में जो है वो तो तलबा व तालिबात जो हैं वो सर्दी में तालीम हासिल करने पे मजबूर हैं।
Residents of Pakistan-administered Kashmir have long complained the government makes no serious attempts to address the demands for even basic amenities. They accuse Pakistan, which rules the region through a proxy, does not grant them any political rights and representation, although it taxes them heavily.
Afghanistan's Taliban administration on Thursday signed a contract with a Chinese firm to drill for oil in the country's north. It is the first major energy extraction agreement with a foreign firm since the Taliban took control of Afghanistan in 2021.
Afghanistan's Taliban-led administration on Thursday signed a contract with China's Xinjiang Central Asia Petroleum and Gas Corporation to extract oil from the Amu Darya Basin in the country's north, the first major deal with a foreign company since it took power in 2021. The deal also underscores China's economic investment in the region, even though the Islamic State militant group has targeted its citizens in Afghanistan. China has not formally recognized the Taliban administration, but it has significant interests in the country at the center of a region important for its Belt and Road Infrastructure initiative. Taliban spokesperson Zabiullah Mujahid said the Chinese company will invest $150 million in a year in Afghanistan under the contract. Its investment would increase to $540 million in 3 years for the 25-year contract, he said, adding that the Taliban-run administration will have a 20% partnership in the project, which can be increased to 75%. The announcement came a day after the Taliban administration said its forces had killed 8 Islamic State members in raids, including some who were behind an attack last month on a hotel catering to Chinese businessmen in Kabul. Afghanistan is estimated to be sitting on untapped resources of more than $1 trillion, which has attracted the interest of some foreign investors, though decades of turmoil has prevented any significant exploitation.
Moving on. The construction work of a 400-meter-long bridge in Kulgam in India's Jammu and Kashmir has entered its final phases as it gets ready for inauguration in February. Locals said it will come as a great relief to them to cross a river and will shorten travel time.
The construction work of a 400-meter-long bridge in Kulgam district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir territory has entered its final phases as it gets ready for its inauguration. The Chambgund Bridge, reportedly South Kashmir's longest bridge, has been constructed over the Vaishav River, a tributary of Jhelum River. It took almost 18 months for constructing the bridge, which has been built at a cost of $3.8 million. The locals, who earlier were forced to cross the river in the absence of a bridge, have expressed happiness as it will help them commute easily.
जनाब हमें तो बहुत मुसीबत थी पहले हमें मेरी उम्र से 70 साल है हमें दरिया से चलते चलते छटका हो जाता था ये खुदा की मेहरबानी तो गवर्नमेंट की मेहरबानी है जिसने ये पुल दिया हमें बहुत आराम हुआ बहुत आराम बहुत शुक्रगुजार हैं हम गवर्नमेंट के.
A district administration official said the double-line bridge will connect the region to towns of Pehlu and Devsar. It is scheduled to be complete for inauguration in February.
Defying the winter chill, hundreds of devotees on Friday thronged India's northern Prayagraj city and took holy dip in river Ganga to mark the commencement of the Maagh Mela. The month-long festival comprises of various prayers and rituals dedicated to Lord Brahma, the Hindu god of creation.
Braving the winter chill, scores of devotees on Friday thronged India's northern Prayagraj city and took holy dips in sacred rivers to mark the auspicious full moon day and the commencement of the month-long Maagh Mela festival to worship the Hindu god of creation, Lord Brahma. Hindus believe that taking a dip in Triveni Sangam, which is the confluence of the sacred Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati rivers in Prayagraj during the Maagh Mela, breaks the cycle of rebirth. The Posh Purnima marks the first full moon of the Magh month between January-February and is considered auspicious.
माघ माह का प्रथम स्नान है और हम लोग एक माह के लिए कल बास करने यहाँ प्रयागराज में आए हुए हैं और लगभग एक हफ्ता पहले आ गए हैं तब से अपनी व्यवस्था बना रहे हैं.
Many devotees were also seen performing rituals with fire and earthen lamps and were seen offering prayers to river Ganga amid early morning fog. It is considered to be very auspicious time when devotees from across the country throng the fair.
आज हम लोग नहाए हैं, पूजा पाठ किए हैं और सब सुविधाएं सब ठीक है.
The fair will culminate on February 18 this year. The festival comprises various prayers and rituals that are aimed at celebrating and praising the source of the creation of the universe.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.